Welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. And Leo, this is going to be a general reading for November 2024. And I want to welcome you if you're new to my channel. It's almost a year old. And if you're subscribed or if you're coming back for another listen, I want to thank you as well. In today's reading, we're going to be doing the Yellow Cardinal Cross, and it's a reading that I've done on this channel before. It's one of my favorites, actually. And it's also a reading that I'm offering to you for a personal reading. So there's about 6 or 7 of them that you can choose from if you're interested in one. And I'll leave the link to that in my description box and also in my comment section. And that'll lead to Carol Cares, my website, and on that website, it'll take you directly to the Yellow Cardinal Tarot page where I have all the readings listed, a description of them, and the cost. And yeah, so if you want to take advantage of that, I would love to do a personal reading for you. And so let's get started. I'm going to be using the Ehrenberg Tarot as well as the Tarot Vintage for clarification. And so in the first 2 spots, we're going to be looking at an issue and also another card to clarify that issue, or a card that's going to tell me how that issue is being obscured or maybe blocked. So let's start off with asking the tarot for one card for the issue. It may spit out another one. If it spits out another one, I'll use that as my obscuring, but I guess it doesn't, or my clarifying. You have the Knight of Swords for your issue right here. And then let's pick, so number 2 would be, the clarifier or what's obscuring it. That's going to help me decide what your issue is. And that one wants to come out, I think. And that's the 2 of Cups in reverse. The 2 of Cups in reverse. It was stuck in my hand and didn't really want to go anywhere. All right, so, and then in the 3rd spot, we're going to look at the conscious influence right here. So that means this is what you're aware of, and it's having an influence on this somehow. They're connected, but it's something that you're aware of, and that's what's most important right here. I mean, that for you, because you know what it is, right? But it's not what's most important. That's what's coming up here. But you have to realize that this, what I'm saying is, number 3 is, it's important because you recognize it, okay? It's important that you recognize it. So one card, and it's the Judgment card. It's the Judgment card. So all right, so let's go with this part, which has the biggest impact, and that's the unconscious influence. What you're going to find here is what's sitting in your unconscious. So it's your shadow. It's everything from childhood or your teenage years that you have rejected or repressed, memories, trauma, emotions connected to it. And often you'll find gifts in here that are also repressed, that maybe as a child you tried to bring them out and they were rejected by people around you. And so, you know, you were shunned, and so, or they were shunned, and you put them away. And so that's what's sitting in our shadow right here. And it is, believe it or not, has the most impact. Our unconscious, and you can Google it actually, has like, it's like basically 95% of who we are, and we don't know this about ourselves, but we believe this right here, but that's not who we are. And so this is so important because this is going to drive this issue. It's going to have the most impact on it. So what card here, I'm going to flip that. What card here is needed here for the unconscious influence? Give me one card, please. Okay, so it's presented me with 2 cards. And one is the Wheel of Fortune. And the other one is the 6 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so in the top spot over here, we're going to look at what's needed for a resolution for this situation. And that's going to come from the tarot for sure, but it's going to give, you know, an overall kind of resolution. It's not going to give you the specific what you need to start working on, but it'll just say, okay, this is what's needed for resolution. So what we can resolve this issue right here. This is what you need to kind of look at right now. My last reading I did for Scorpio, I had the Tower come out and it was like, oh my God. But you have the 9 of Pentacles that has come out. And that's what you need it for resolution right now. And then we're going to look at guidance from the tarot. Guidance from the tarot with this. Okay, these cards need to stay where I put them. Where I want to put them. All right. Guidance from the... Ooh. Okay. The Star. That's interesting because that's the card that was overturned. And I put it back in. It's in reverse. Interesting. So it definitely wanted to come out. And it didn't get to come out for some reason. But here we go. Okay, so we're going to look for some... let's get some clarifiers on these. So these cards have all been pre-shuffled before I came on. And... I do a big mashup, and that's how I shuffle them. All right, let's clarify the Knight of Swords and the 2 of Cups. Can I have a couple clarifiers for these 2 cards? There's 1, and there's 2. You got the 6 of Swords. This one's going to go here. 6 of Swords and the Temperance card in reverse. The Temperance card in reverse. The Judgment. Judgment, please. Couple cards for that one. And one more card. The 7 of Wands in reverse. And yeah, that was one. Okay, yeah, and the Temperance went with that. Okay. All right, a couple cards for the unconscious influence here. Wheel of Fortune, 6 of Wands in reverse. Didn't mean to flick those out, but they came out. So you have the Page of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Emperor. Interesting, definitely interesting, lot going on here coming up in your shadow. Okay. What's needed for resolution with the 9 of Pentacles? A couple cards, please, for this 9 of Pentacles. You have the Page of Swords. And you also have the Page of Pentacles over here. And the 4 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Wands. And the Star card in reverse. A couple cards for that. And one more. Queen of Wands in reverse. And another Page of Wands in reverse. You have, for all your clarifiers, you have 3 pages. Page of Swords, Page of Pentacles, Page of Page of Wands, Page of Swords, and Page of Pentacles. Yeah, the only one that didn't come out was your Page of Cups. 3 pages. Whoa. Once we get into the reading, I'll tell you what the pages mean. Very significant part of your healing. Okay, let's start off with this card. Forgot to do it in the last reading, so I had to do it in between the reading. Okay, so this card is the World card. It's a major arcana card. It's in reverse. It's the overriding energy for this reading. In January 2024, I did your yearly reading and I pulled 12 cards for you, Leo. And your November card was the World card in reverse. And I have those readings in my description box if you're interested. Now, the World card talks about, like, it's obviously like a closing. It's something that's coming to an end here. And it can signify closure, something coming to an end. Maybe, you know, a cycle of some sort. You're getting some answers. And it's a big ending because endings are always great because there's always new beginnings that come in. Like when you end something, and you'll hear me a lot in tarot is that things are ending, things are coming to an end, cycles are ending. And those are important because we don't cycle through, we shouldn't be staying in something forever. Things do come to an end in this journey. I've been on the healing journey for about 7.5 years, healing my own complex trauma with a trauma coach. Now, I know that my own healing will never end. I will always be healing, and all of us are always healing. Those of you that say, or if you've heard people say, I'm done healing, there's no such thing because we're always growing. And so this is, you know, what was supposed to be an ending, but not. And so, like, ending brings in hope and closure. And so something, for some reason, there's something that's not ended for you. And I'm not sure what it is. We're going to figure this out in this reading. But so there hasn't been closure. There's something that hasn't ended for you. And we're going to see that's the overriding energy for you in the month of November. So let's get started with the issue, problem, struggle that you're dealing with right now. And then we're going to look at what's obscuring it, or, you know, some more clarity here. We start off with the Knight of Swords. And I love the eyes that are looking through the... I know there's a name for the handle right here, whatever that piece is on the sword. I probably should look it up so I'll know next time. But they're like these piercing eyes of, you know, wanting to get to the truth. And this is the sword. The sword is your truth, your authenticity. Knights in my deck are what I call freedom fighters. And they are the part of us that have been fighting for freedom all our life. They're an adolescent part of us, and everybody has it in them. It's that part of you that wants to be free, and you're going to get free through being your authentic self. And there's a big drive for us all to become authentic. And we all want that. And that's the part of us in here. And right now it's coming out for you as it's like your freedom fighter is out, that part of you that wants the freedom to be authentic. You want to get back to your authenticity. You want to get back to your truth. But oftentimes when we have that part that's coming out, they can be a part that's full of hopelessness. And they can, because they've been fighting for that freedom all their life, and they just haven't arrived at getting it. And they can also be angry as well. So if you could be dealing with those two emotions right now, but behind it you have this Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups talks about this, in an upright position, it talks about this exchange. This is the clarity in the card that's could be obstructing it. So this talks about this exchange of cups between two individuals. And so it becomes, your cups are about your emotions, your desires, your wishes, and that's like sharing with someone on a very deep level, your wishes, your desires, your emotions. And so it becomes a card of really, of intimacy, of vulnerability, but it's not a relationship with someone else. And it's a number 2. It's a beginning of a relationship. It's the beginning of a relationship with yourself. But there is a real big fear on your part, even though you have this part of you that wants to, that's coming up, that's inside of you, that wants the freedom to get back to who you are. And you do that. You get to know yourself, your truth, by, going inwards and getting intimate with yourself and feeling your emotions. But that's in reverse here. And so there's some sort of resistance here to going inwards, even though there's a part of you that's pulling on you to go that way, to become authentic and to find out who you really are. And to start this intimate relationship with yourself, but that's blocked as well. There's a fear of going inwards to do that, and that's what's blocking. So I'm going to say it's obscuring this freedom fighter that wants to get you there. There's this party that wants to get you there, but you're blocking it, and maybe that has something to do with why you can't bring closure to this. Or so we're gonna get some more information right here. You have the Six of Swords in reverse, and the Six of Swords talks about, in an upright position, it talks about this gondolier. I call him the gondolier man, and he's bringing this looks like a woman and child here, bringing them to safer waters. You can see the rough waters right here. And he's directing them to safer waters here. And so to me it almost looks like, they have this shawl and they look like they're hunched over. And that is a sign of like fear or maybe shame or something. And so it looks like they're coming from danger and going to a safer place. And because this is a healing channel and it's all about your healing journey, I look at this card as the safety card. Because when you are healing, you need the thing that you need is you need to be in a safe place. It is almost impossible to heal when you are not in a safe place. And sometimes we think that we can be protected by certain people that we're with, but it's a false sense of protection actually. And I'm seeing here that because it's blocked, you are not in a safe place. And this is getting yourself to safety. And here there's like, maybe you don't see it. You don't see that you're not in a safe place and you need to get to a safe place. Or there's a resistance on your part to getting in a safe place. And so I think that's why you have this Knight of Swords that's wanting to get back to who you really are. And, this need to become very intimate with yourself and start to get to know who you really are, but you're not in a safe place to do that. And the Temperance card comes in, and that's in reverse. The Temperance card talks about dipping your toe. See the angel here? They're dipping their toe in those emotions, just dipping them. And water's all about emotions here. And Temperance talks about, a little bit at a time to get to these emotions that you need to get to. But but that's in reverse. It's just like you're not even able to touch your emotions because maybe there's, when my cards are in reverse, there's a resistance or there could be a fear. So there's a real fear on your part. And I'm going to say it's a real fear on maybe, you have 3 inner children on the table. 3 inner children here. So your inner children, these inner parts of you, are feeling great fear. If you're feeling fear in your system, I mean, you'll know what fear is. If you're feeling that, it's because you're not safe. We're not, your inner children don't feel safe. And like I said, for some reason I said that oftentimes we can have this false sense of security if we're with a partner or if we're with someone and we think we're safe with them, if we're living with a parent, for example, and we think we're safe, but we're not. But we imagine that we are because there's someone there for us. So that's where you're sitting right now. Now, I need to look at what's the influence here? What's the influence on this? So the Judgment card comes here, and the Judgment card speaks of this angel here blowing this horn, and you have this individual asleep in their coffin here, but they're it's like they're almost half dead, but this angel's waking them up here so that they can waken them up from their coffin. And this Judgment card is like this nudge. You're feeling this nudge. You're feeling this nudge to this call. It's like there's something here that's trying to wake you up, maybe to the situation that you're in right now. But there's something here that's calling you. Something here that's calling you, Leo, that's trying to wake you up. Here you have this individual here that's, it's the 8 of Pentacles card in reverse. And the 8 of Pentacles talks about this individual that's working away at this job. Committed to something. Committed to this job that they're doing. And that's interesting that this is coming up because, this is a job that you might have in the past felt very passionate about. And this is a job that maybe you've taken on thinking that this was, your life purpose. This is the direction you were supposed to go to. And for some reason, it's not what you thought it was. It's not bringing you passion. It's not bringing you joy. So you're in a situation right now. And, maybe it's a relationship you're in or a job that you're in. 8 of Pentacles often speaks about the workplace. But whatever it is, there's something about it that's not bringing you passion, joy anymore. And I think there's a calling here to wake up, to recognize that. And then there's part of it is this 7 of Wands. It's in reverse, but in an upright position, the 7 of Wands talks about this individual that has decided to go out alone, to go out alone and kind of look at the shoes, how they don't match. So it's an individual that's not willing to conform to maybe what society wants, to other people that wants. A non-conformist here individual that has decided to, kind of take their life in their own hands and decided I'm going ahead. This individual might decide, well, I'm going to go and heal. I'm going to go and, I don't know, maybe there's a job you need to leave. There's something you need to leave here. But you're really afraid because this individual that has taken the step to go out on their own is not being validated, is not being supported by these people below. And that happens when you go out on your own sometimes, whatever it is, if it's on this healing journey, you want to just do something on your own for yourself, and you decide you want to do that. And then you have these people that come out of the woodwork and try to pull you back down because they're threatened for some reason by what you've decided to do. And that's in reverse right here. And so there is a real resistance on your part to taking this step that you need to take. And maybe it's the step because you don't feel safe enough. You don't feel safe enough to take this step. You're not supported and you're not being validated to take this step that you need to take. And you know, if you're in like a situation where there's no safety for you, where you're not being supported or validated, it is impossible for you to dip your toe into that water and feel what you need to feel in order for you to take that step. There's some fear there that you need to get out of your system. And there may be some things like anger or hopelessness, you know, and because you're caught up in this situation where you know you want to, you know you're being called to step away from whatever this is, and you're not feeling safe enough to do it because you're not feeling supported and you're not feeling validated. So let's go see where this is coming from your childhood, from your teenage years, from your shadow. Because this is what's having the biggest influence. This is what's causing you to not be able to do what you want to do, because it's like a pattern that's repeating from childhood, and it's the universe that sets this up for you. I mean, if you think about it, it's beautiful how they do it, the universe, but it's not beautiful when you're sitting in it. It really isn't. But it's something that has happened to you when you were younger, and it's now kind of triggering all of this, and this is why you're feeling this. So the Wheel of Fortune has come up as a first card here with clarification, the Six of Wands in reverse. And so the Wheel of Fortune talks about in your childhood or in your shadow is sitting this Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And the Wheel of Fortune talks about a crisis, like a major change in circumstance here. And that's what the Wheel of Fortune is. Something happened in your life that changed the course of your life, really. I mean, it could be many things that have happened, but there's been a change of circumstances here, and it really caused you to. I mean, if it's in reverse, it's like it stopped something from happening, and we're supposed to heal, and we're supposed to be supported, and we're supposed to be validated here, but whatever happened to you was not, you weren't supported and you weren't validated in it, and so you did not get over the trauma or whatever it is that happened to you, and this tells me about it what got blocked here. So this Six of Wands in reverse clarifies this, whatever happened here. And the Six of Wands in an upright position talks about this individual coming back from a battle that they've won, because there's this victory wreath, right? So because the sixes in my deck all have a duality to them. On the surface, this looks like a card of victory. But when you look closely, you need to look at the other side, which is what has been lost. And so that was blocked for you. You weren't allowed to feel the grief of what happened to this situation right here. You weren't allowed to feel the grief of what happened to this situation right here. And yet, and so you pretty much shut that down. And when you're not allowed to feel that grief because of you're not validated or supported, you have an inner part. This is the Page of Pentacles. The pages in my deck are our inner children. And so you have, talk about in a second. You have right in the middle of your shadow, you have an inner child. And we can have more than one inner child. Mainstream psychology likes to say we just have one, but I've been on this intensive healing journey long enough to know that I have more than one inner child. And our children, our inner children, they inside of us, they hold those emotions for us in our body. They hold them for us and they know what happened, but they need to be healed. They hold those emotions, but they were too young to feel them. They weren't, this particular child of yours, when you were younger, this part of yours couldn't handle this grief from whatever the situation is, and you may or may not know what it is because it's in your shadow. But there's something that happened to you, and you weren't able to process it. There was no help for you to deal with this big emotion. And so that's how our inner children get formed. They're the ones that hold on to this for it. And then they come up for healing when we're older, and we're asked to feel. We're asked to feel what they couldn't feel. And so you're being asked to feel this grief that this Page of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, the pentacle is the body. And this younger part of us was very, very grounded when they were younger. But we are in our body when we're very young. We're very much in our body, but we go out of our body and we go into our heads where it's safe, where we can't feel, when something happens to us when we're younger. And then you have the King of Pentacles right behind it. And I just talked about how we can go out of our body, because what happens is the King in the deck, my deck, there's 4 of them. And the King represents our ego self. And our ego self is the one that keeps us up in our head. They're in our head. We believe that that's us. And they're the ones that control the show, and they'll block us. They'll block us from feeling this grief that we need to feel when we were younger. And that's what happens. It's the ego self that will take us out of our body and into our heads. It's like a protector when we're younger. Except when we get older, it continues to protect us because it still thinks, our ego self still think that it's back in our childhood. And so it doesn't know, it'll never know. It only knows what happened when we were younger, right? It doesn't know we're an adult now. And so this Page of Pentacles will say, I'm sitting here and I'm telling you that, you need to get back in your body and you need to feel this stuff. You need to feel to heal this child of yours. But this King right here, this ego self will say, no way, don't you dare. Don't you dare go down into your body, because that's where your emotions are, right? And the ego self is petrified of emotions. And the biggest emotion, the one that it's most scared of, is the grief that you need to feel right now to heal this inner part of you. And the Emperor card is the last one that comes out. And I call him Mr. Emperor. He's a major masculine force in the major arcana. And he is number 4. He's solid and he's rigid. And I'm going to say that this may indicate that you've had a very controlling environment when you were younger. Very, very controlling. Because it's the last card here. And that makes sense. I mean, if you come from a very controlling environment, it can be very, very fearful. And you're not going to feel validated or supported in any way. And that's interesting because this safety card right now for you has come out as an issue. And you're not feeling safe here to feel. I mean, you're not even feeling safe to dip your toe here. So I'm wondering if you're sitting in an environment where you are being controlled. And sometimes we can interpret that as being protected. Our ego self can sometimes fool us into believing that this individual is protecting us when really what they're doing is controlling us. And it could be somebody you're living with. It could even be like a friend or something that a situation you're with that somebody's controlling you. But I'm seeing here that that's what's coming out here, is that this Emperor is very much somebody that, has a lot of rules, and you need to live by these rules. And it's like there's no room for gray here. There's no gray area. no room for emotions whatsoever. No, we don't show our emotions. It's very, very controlling. And so I think you came from an environment here where you were very much controlled and you were not allowed whatsoever to show your emotions. And you were definitely shut down from your ego self because it protected you really from this controlling environment that you lived when you were younger. And now I'm seeing here that now when you're wanting to, you know, go out on your own here, and you've got this fear in you. There's this great fear. That's what I was coming up with. There's a lot of fear here, I think. Fear from doing it. But you have to realize that fear is coming from your childhood. And that's what you got to go back to, right? Now, let's see. That's what I'm saying. Let's see what the resolution here is from the fascinating reading here. It's pretty deep, Leo. Whew. Okay, so the Nine of Pentacles here. Yeah, so what's the resolution here? Well, beautiful card, the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is about bringing awareness to the situation. Bringing awareness to what really matters in your life. And the Eight of Pentacles, which comes before this card, talks about somebody finally doing something they want to do. And, you know, it sounds like there's a call for you to, you're thinking you want to do something for yourself. And it could be, you know, maybe you're in a relationship that you want to leave. But the Nine of Pentacles says it as a resolution here. It's like, let's bring some self-awareness to this. And what really matters to you is what you need to get to. What really matters to you. And then you have this page, another page, one of your inner child. And this inner child carries the sort of authenticity. Who you really are. Right now you're having a hard time seeing who you really are because I can just feel the tenseness and the tightness of the situation that you're sitting in right now. And it's almost like a smothering, controlling situation here where you're being not kept in a box, right? Not being allowed to be who you are. But you've got this inner child, another inner child here that needs healing. Whenever your inner child shows up, it's a child that needs healing because they knew who they were. They knew why they came to this planet. Little kids know who they were. But if you've been controlled all your life when you were younger, there's no way you were able to show or bring out anything that showed who you were, because if you did, it was definitely shut down. And so this child needs healing as well. And then you have the Four of Pentacles that comes out. And the Four of Pentacles talks about this miser holding on to his outer world here, and about attachments, right? And I think this card is a card of letting go. You know, it's time to let go of these attachments. And I think for you, a lot of them, this letting go means whatever way you want to take it, but there's a lot here that needs letting go. And I think you need to let go of, you know, emotions, and you need to let go of these things that are, what is it that's giving you all these burdens? You know, this is not the 10 yet. But the 10 is when you have all these burdens that you've been carrying all your life, and you're collecting them and you've been holding on to them, you know, that all these burdens that you had from childhood right here. And look at this individual that's been through battle. You know, you've been through so much. You've been through so much. And this is saying it's time now. It's time that you decide what matters to you, because there's so much here. There's an inner child here that knows who you were. There's another one over here, the pentacle, that, you know, knew you were very grounded when you were younger. And they need healing. You have little children here that need healing. You have things that need to let go. You have to let go of some of this. It's becoming too much for you to hold on to. Too much. and you've been holding on to it. It's time to let it go. So let's go to the guidance of the tarot. And just to lighten this up a bit, let's know, okay, Star card says healing needs to be done. And I think we have established that, right? It's in reverse here because, yeah, there's a resistance and a fear. And it's hard, there's, some things that need to, but we're looking, the tarot is going to give us what we're going to begin with, right? Because there's definitely some healing that needs to take place here for you. You have this part of you right now, this knight, and we talked about knights, and it's the part of us that wants the freedom. You have this part of you, this Knight of Swords. It's the second time that it's showed up here, so it's sitting right here as the Knight of Swords. We talked about the one that wants that freedom to be authentic, to be you, and that's what you have to focus on, this part that wants freedom here. And I want to say to you that because this part is coming out again, this part is going to carry with it a lot of hopelessness and some anger. And so I'm going to assume that because of how you are feeling, so I'm going to say trapped or just not seeing a way out of this particular part of yours feels a heck of a lot of hopelessness. And so, and because the Queen of Wands comes up here as well, she can feel a lot of hopelessness also. And we're going to get into her right now. I don't think I've had a queen yet on the table. So the Queen, we've talked about the King being our, where was the King? There he is right there. The King being our masculine side, our ego. The Queen is the feminine side. She's the feminine side that's repressed in all of us. We all have these two sides. It doesn't matter what gender you are. But the feminine side has been repressed for years and years and years. And she's the one that, has the qualities of being very grounded in her body, in touch with her emotions, very intuitive, creative, authentic. She has the sword in her hand. She's the creative sword here. She's the one that wants to, you to get back in your body and start to feel that grief of these pages right here. And because and that hopelessness of your knights. And she feels very hopeless as well, because she knows that there's another direction for you, and she wants you to take your life into a new direction. And so, and then you end with the Page of Wands here. And that's the page with the wand. That's the younger part of you that's blocked right now. But that's the younger part of you that knew what direction you were supposed to go into. And I think, this Eight of Pentacles here, where you're kind of not sure, you're not having the passion. Maybe if this is about your workspace, if this is about a job that you want to leave and you can't because you were as a young person, you were very controlled. Maybe you were told that's what you were supposed to do, and you have some sort of a contract with your caretakers that says you can only do that job. That's something too. If you deep down inside that you've got some kind of contract that says you're not allowed to do this for yourself. You're not allowed to go for a better job, a different job. You're not allowed to put you first. Like, who do you think you are? And that can be, that's part of this younger child of yours that knew who you were supposed to be, and that's completely blocked. So I am going to give you a playlist on depression, Leo, because I think there's hopelessness here, and I want to give you videos on how to journal, because you need to get in touch with your grief. You need to get in touch with what these inner children want to say to you. They are holding a lot of they hold your grief, they hold your shame, they hold your hopelessness. And so I'm going to give you some writing prompts. Those are first sentences you can use And I talk about that in my journaling videos, but I'm going to give you a list of writing prompts for depression, and that'll really help you hear when you start writing from those. That's going to really help you hear what your younger children are saying to you, your inner children. That's going to help you hear what your knights are saying to you and the freedom that they want. I think it's really important that you get in touch with that. And I think that's a good step for you to really start to journal. I also think some grounding is needed here, but sometimes it's really hard to ground yourself if you're not feeling safe, because you're always going to be fearful. But I think it's important that that's definitely something you need to learn. I do have videos on that on my Carol Cares channel as well. But right now, if you're not feeling safe and validated, I think one of the first things you can start to do is just to journal from what you're feeling, right? And I have some really good information on journaling. So Leo, I want you to have compassion for yourself. We didn't get to the world card there, but I really think that there's a lot of closure here that needs to happen with your inner children, especially when you were younger. And yeah, I definitely think that's what's happening here. And I think once you get to that grief, what happens is once you start to deal with some of these big emotions through your journaling and really getting into that grief and feeling that grief of those younger children viewers, you're going to know what direction you're going to go in. But you got to get to these emotions first, and then you're going to be able to go into that direction. So have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This is the hardest journey of your life, but it's the most important one. And so take care, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.